My name's Andrew Casey, and yeah, delighted to be here tonight and to see all you guys. And thanks, Kim, for putting on a great event. It's a real great idea and yeah, fun thing for me to be at. So hope you all get something out of what I can contribute today as well. So I'm just going to go into, and yeah, I'm going to be kind of standing over here because I've got like a few notes there and a timer so I don't rant on or not take long enough. So anyway, I'll start with who I am and my background. So I've been involved in kind of the creative sphere for most of my life, or most of my adult life. Like from an early age I was involved in music, so the music background, so I was in bands and stuff growing up, and music production and all that, and want to be rock star and through that whole thing. And then for the last 11 going on 12 years I've run Headcase Marketing. Headcase Marketing is a small but high impact creative marketing group. So what we do is we work for primarily global brands, and really great fun work, kind of like dreaming up and delivering creative marketing solutions for these global brands. And we also partner with a lot of the biggest and best known agency players in the Irish marketing landscape, so it's kind of brand driven work. It's really creative, really fun, really rewarding work. So I'm going to talk a bit about that today. Beyond that, a little bit more about me. Beyond Headcase, I'm involved in a couple of other businesses and ventures. That's either businesses that I've invested in or co-founded, or a bit of consultancy work that I do with startups or more established businesses. And I love coaching and mentoring and helping develop other people and their entrepreneurial skills, especially in the creative space. I work with loads of artists and all that kind of thing. Involved in another bike company called Funked Up Fixies, it used to be. It's an e-commerce and bike manufacturer. It's got a retail store in Dublin 8. So a few kind of things going on, but Headcase is kind of like the headquarters of it all. Yeah, I absolutely love what I do. Get to work with creatives in really kind of like challenging, exciting, fast-moving industry, and helping people develop their careers and push their own creativity. So yeah, it's very kind of rewarding stuff. Along the way, my experience, which hopefully I'll get to kind of illuminate some stuff today, has been kind of quite broad, and all in the career path that I've gone has been completely unplanned, and that's kind of what makes it fun. And from music to creative marketing to bikes to all that, it's totally unplanned at all, and it'll probably sprout another few arms here and there. I've learned a lot through business. I've seen some really great, inspiring, fantastic moments in business, and I've also witnessed and worked with some of the biggest assholes you can imagine, and so see all of the different sides of business, and all of that experience has kind of been a melting pot from which kind of molded what is Headcase, which is our company and our values and our ethics and the way we view our work and even view the world. So I know that sounds pretty like broad and deep, but there you go, Andrew. So next, what am I going to talk about today? So this is actually the part that I kind of got a bit lost. I started playing with the fonts. So it's not going to be an ongoing memoir, but we're going to talk about like two kind of areas. One being the kind of the space that we work in, which is creative marketing, and what we do and why we do it and how we do it and how that space is changing, and then also us as a team, Headcase, and why we do what we do and all that. And I hope it might help you guys in terms of thinking creatively about marketing, about your own things, or even developing your own communities or ventures or businesses. So okay, so I'm going to start off then with like our work and our space, and again, so I mentioned who are Headcase. Well, Headcase, that's what we think we are anyway. That's what we think Headcase. To us, that's Headcase. It's very important to be self-confident and believe in yourself. But anyway, what Headcase is, so Over 10 years of experience in the brand world, a unique approach and combination of skills. Headcase are a small but high impact creative marketing supplier. In reality, so we're a creative marketing supplier. We have 4 different divisions: Headcase Experience, Headcase TV, Urban Art, Out of Home. Doesn't really matter, you don't have to go into huge detail on it, but when you boil down to it, what we do is help brands to reach their audience or further engage with their audience through either experiences, or through content. So the creation of kind of like the engaging video content, and hopefully the end result of that is something that feels good and engages people, and either something that, you know, warms the heart or makes them think or makes them happy, or, you know, I don't know, is that possible to do all 3 at once, but you can give it a shot. So looking at it more than you know, what we do or the challenges that we face in our work or what we're asked to do. We look at what are today's marketing challenges and how we can help solve them. So, you know, what does it take to succeed in modern day marketing? And I think one of the first things we need to recognize is that marketing today versus the marketing of yesteryear are very, very different things. You know, communication today in general is so different. It's so intense. There are so many forms of communication. There are so many channels, so much noise going on. And in marketing, we've obviously technology and data and social media, and that impacts kind of consumer behavior as well, and the way that we respond to that. You know, decreased attention spans, you know, addiction to phones and things like that, all of that kind of thing. So, you know, it's a very different landscape for, in general in communications, but for marketing in particular, that lends opportunities and it lends challenges for brands or in trying to reach audiences. So then, if you're thinking about that and the new marketing world and all of this noise going on, that's when you realise for brands to really reach consumers, you realise that awareness isn't enough. You need to engage. So successful marketing is trying to you know, go beyond just awareness, go beyond shouting, and how you know, what do they want to do then? It's more about engaging, connecting and engaging with audiences, and ensuring that you have understanding and trust. And when you do those things right, the results are that you can build loyalty, as opposed to, you know, just kind of shouting. So how do we do that? How do we connect and engage? Well, there are some ways here. So first of all, we want to make what it is that you're selling, your product or your service, something that's relatable and real. So what does that mean? That means that people are able to identify with the product or the brand. You also need to make the marketing of your product or your service personal. So it's either, you know, something that's personalized or gives the consumer a lot of choice, you know, so they can buy something or consume something that's personalized for them. Also, in how a brand communicates with a consumer, no one wants to be, you know, treated like they're just being communicated to like a mass audience. You know, if you can communicate with a consumer one-on-one, that makes a huge difference as well. Depth then as well. Obviously, consumers these days are a lot more knowledgeable, thank you to the internet. You know, people, you know, they can spot, you know, they know all the negative things that are happening around the world. They can spot bullshit pretty easily as well. So having that depth and that purpose, brands are definitely leveraging that a lot more now. And then just having a good old story. Like that isn't even modern consumers, that's just proper human stuff. Like we love a good story. So that's definitely something that in kind of modern marketing, that's being harnessed a lot more and it's being done very successfully. Okay, so again, then I was like, okay, well that's all like kind of, that's, quite theoretical. So I was like, what does this look like in reality? And again, the font gets really like detailed here, meaning that I didn't know where to go next. So I thought, okay, beer, have a beer. But actually, I was looking for something to try and illustrate some of those points. And beer, looking at that industry is one of those things that works quite well. So if you look at what is the product, obviously it's a product that was crafted by some absolute genius, probably centuries or millennia ago. And then in the industrialized world, that opened an opportunity for the likes of the Diageos with their Budweisers and Heinekens, who become big global dominant brands and a kind of a mass-produced product. But now fast forward to our modern communications world that I'm talking about, and now we see that this is an industry that's undergone like huge disruption and change in craft beer, and which we all know and some of us love, so that has changed completely. And if we look at the differences there, with craft you have these new micro operators, these new micro breweries and individuals from localized places with localized stories, small brands selling a much more personalized. Now beer is a much more personalized experience. You've seasonal varieties of beer and things like that, and it feels a lot more real. The craft is a lot more real, and the result is that the impact on consumer behavior is significant, and that people are going out and buying beer that they feel an affinity towards, and these brands are so it's completely changed it and opened up the market. And you now have, ironically enough, you have some big colossal brands like BrewDog, but they're a great example. I'm not sure if anyone knows BrewDog. They have an amazing book called Business for Punks, and it's brilliant. And they're a colossal brand that started in a shed and a story, and they're now absolutely worldwide. And I guess the way they've done it is so different to what the traditional brands, the big brands, would have done. So I guess what does this show? This example in the beer stuff is that the small guys and their story now have got a chance, and big guys need to write a new story. So the Heinekens and the Budweisers and things like that, they're not as engaging as these small guys who have a lot more going for them because of the things I mentioned earlier. So it's a significant change. And what else does this show? Again, summarising two things. It shows the re-emergence of craft and the power of the story. So if you think about those two things individually, the re-emergence of craft, we find ourselves in this hyper digitized world, but now craft is becoming kind of on trend again, and is the value associated with the tradition and the traditional craft is becoming very valuable again. And you'll see this in many industries as well, and especially in food and things like that. Now you have kind of Michelin star awarded market stalls, that kind of thing, and the big players in the food business are coming through small and craft. So that's becoming very, very valuable. Handmade this and handmade that and all. Anyway, the re-emergence of the craft, and then secondly the power of the story. And that's where brands or products that may have existed for a long time, selling something that is just a core product, but not realizing that the story behind their brand or the history of their brand or their product is actually now something that can be pushed to the fore and can be something as valuable, if not more valuable, than their product in their marketing. So that's a huge change, and people care about both of these things. People care about the story behind a brand, and people care about the fact that real craft went into it. And people didn't care about that before, and in fact people didn't even have like the communication channels didn't even exist for people to be able to be aware of the stories, because that all came through these new digital communication channels like social media and all of that. So they're two things that brands or products or companies can use and can leverage and can win and can stand out. And so how to do that then, or I think an interesting thing anyway, and one thing that's been good for Headcase is that both of those things, both the craft element and the power of the story, are both inherently very, very creative. So in your thinking, at the end of the day, it's that creativity wins in all of these things. So if looking for a way to stand out, creativity is where to start, and these are all just other details that go with it. So what this means for us and what we do in Headcase, again, I had to pause and think and play with fonts. So separately, because I think the way we look at it is we operate on both sides of the spectrum here, and I'll explain why. So there's for our clients and the brands that we're working for, and then there's for ourselves as Headcase in our own brand and our own company and our own venture to grow, succeed, and be happy. So for our clients, what are we doing? Well, we're helping these big established brands to connect and engage with their target audience. And how are we doing that? Well, so we're helping them, we're helping them tell their story better. We're helping them, anyway, I know what it is. We're telling them, do that, don't hang on. Tell their stories better, and understand and relate to their audiences better. So just imagine this is a global brand we're talking about here, whether it's a Jameson or a beer, sorry, beer and wine now as well. So any kind of global brand. See you later. Am I okay for time? Help them understand and relate to their audience better, do those personalizing things I was talking about earlier, and show more depth. So for the brand to show that there is more to them than the whiskey, you know, there's more history behind it. Help them tell those stories better in these new modern media. And then for ourselves, well, we are the small guys, and we're punching very creatively, well above our weight, within our industry, which is full of a lot bigger, more global marketing agencies, because we're working for the big brands, but we're in a space where there's a lot of big players in it. And so how are we doing that? Well, we're exploring and developing our own story, our own true story. We're being ourselves and we're being proud of it. We're searching for depth and purpose in everything we do. I know, again, that sounds very deep, like you're a marketing company, yes, but we have great visions, and we have a very strong sense of value and ethic, and doing it our way. And by the process of doing that, your clients notice that, and that becomes a USP for you as well. So again, there's the work we do, and of course the work we do has to be awesome, and it is awesome, but having these additional things, having this knowledge about your own brand and harnessing these things is a USP as well. So now for the kind of last part, I'm going to go into a few examples. So, where's that Mary Poppins? Oh god, that's revealed it already. Sorry. So yeah, insert various disclaimers. Some of these pieces of work, like there's a number of examples, and I don't know which of the ones to kind of show are the ones, because every piece of work that we do is for a very different brand who has a very different personality. Some of them want to be really happy and joyful, like the one that just turned up there, and some of them want to take things a little bit more seriously. And then there's also all the difference about where is that brand or product in its life cycle. Is it launching? So there's a million things that make every single project we do entirely different. Budgetary as well, and things like that. There are little small stunts, and then there are big whopper campaigns. So I didn't really know what to do, because we do so much and so broad. So I'm going to run through a couple of examples, and I also didn't want to jump into something really deep and whereas I was tempted to be honest. But yeah, that's why Mary Poppins starts. It's not very deep to start. So this is an example of a piece of work that we did for Disney Studios just before Christmas, and it was for the release of their movie Mary Poppins Returns, which was kind of like the big, seasonal blockbuster. Emily Blunt in it, actually really good. Big budget stuff, and it's all just a real nice feel-good movie. And so what they wanted to do is they're having their big, wide marketing plan, but they wanted Headcase to do a kind of a small stunt of some sort. Well, actually, no, they didn't want us to do something. We came back and said we'll do a stunt and try and add a bit of feel-good, both in terms of experience and content creation. So it's a very, very short video because it's very simple what we did. So, where is it? Okay. Oops. Yeah, I'm not sure if that music is working. No. Sure. Anyway, if you don't, you can just imagine this like magical music. So that's kind of what that was about, and then that went out on Love in Dublin and got 100,000 views or something like that, and on Disney's channels. So it was both the experience and then the video, and creating this association with this kind of positive feel-good movie. So yeah, pretty simple creative stuff there. Then I think I've shown that image earlier on, but this is a piece of work we've done for Just Eat, the food delivery service. We've worked with Just Eat for a couple of years, and so some of the context to this is that they have various different marketing strategies for their various different demographics, and they engage Headcase to do their student marketing, i.e. their stupid stuff, which is perfect for us. So there's a lot more kind of personality there, obviously the student age group and demographic, so that's an opportunity for Just Eat to show its brand personality. So I guess the backdrop to this campaign was that Just Eat was, they wanted to push their obviously their core product, which is online ordering platform, but also their speed of delivery, their reliability, and their fun personality. So we came up with this activation, this student roadshow called Need for Feed, which was like kind of taking this out of the Need for Speed, I'll show you what it is here. But it turned into this inter-college championship of Need for Feed, where we got all students competing against each other to be the fastest kind of mock delivery person, and we built this rig and roadshow, and they rebooked it like 3 years running, so it was pretty good. And yeah, it's just about, again, it's about engaging people in an experience and then some content output. So prepare for the Need for Feed. Anyway, really fun. You can see from the students' reactions, like they're the people that we're engaging, and that's memorable stuff for them. So, okay, so the last one, I probably should have finished on that. That was a little bit more upbeat. The last one, anyway, let's just pretend I did that. The last one is exploring a little bit more of the depth, and this is a brand, a client in the UK called Fansbet, and they're a betting group, and not a huge fan of gambling. I'm not doing much more work with them, but they have these individual sports brands that are like betting brands that are aligned to Premiership football clubs. So this client is actually called RedsBet. So it's a betting app that's targeting Liverpool football supporters. And the unique thing that the brand was trying to communicate, and what they're trying to do, is that they're about loyalty. They're trying to encourage loyalty, because that really doesn't happen in the gambling industry. And they're doing it by giving 50% of their profits back to the supporters club of that team. As I dig further, you have to actually make some profits first to be able to do that. So so it sounds all well and good. But anyway, they're doing that. So their core brand pillars are like community and loyalty. And so this is our video production division did this. This is much more video based than the other stuff, which is more stunt and experience. And so we wrote this series for them, and it's called Fandom. And it was a series of videos, and it was about the fans. It's kind of like, it's all about the fans, and it's all about loyalty. So we met with lots of these original Liverpool supporters, and it's supposed to be kind of telling the story of why loyalty matters and why it's all about the fans. Hopefully it'll kind of it'll explain it itself. So this is a little bit longer anyway, but I'm nearly finished. So.
6 years of age going to a football match in the Kop on my granddad's shoulders. It's what football and passion is all about.
We're like a family club from young to old, and it's always been that way as far as I can remember.
It's a way of life for me. I don't know anything else. The city is best known for the Beatles and also the friendliness of the Liverpool people. No matter where you go in the world, everybody knows Liverpool Football Club.
Football in this city is major.
We haven't always been successful. My dad's watched Liverpool in the old second division for 9 years. I was about 8 years of age. I remember looking at the Kop and thinking, how can you get that many people in there? My greatest memory was the 1974 Cup final against Newcastle, because then the FA Cup meant everything. Stadiums and facilities have changed for the better, but I don't think the game has.
The traditional football fan can't really afford to go to the match.
It's no longer a working class game.
I'll still sing, I'll still shout, I'll lose my voice. I'll follow this club through hell and high water.
But you still get that buzz from walking up to Anfield.
You'll never walk alone. It's so emotional.
The hairs on the back of your head go up.
It's passion, win, lose or draw.
It's a unique feeling. It's that euphoric feeling. It's win at all costs.
Newcastle, 96. Unbelievable. A Fowler to Collymore from nowhere. Bingo.
Liverpool Football Club is the be-all and end-all of my life.
Long live the fans.
Anyway, so that's it. That's, I guess, an example of exploring more of the depth in things. Now I'm just going to run through. I'm not going to go through any more examples. There's too many. Where am I? Actually, okay, I'll show you one more. Yeah, billboards, except head page style. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And that again, that example there, a better one to finish on, I think, was where it's about, again, the craft, re-emergence of the craft. A brand like Jemison, who need to show association with that kind of thing. They can book billboards everywhere, all over the country, but there's a big difference with someone custom designing and hand painting them, and then the video of that then being something that is watchable. So yeah, that's just about, just a bit more depth, creativity, and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I wrote final thoughts on my last slide, but I actually can't really think of any. Other than that, I hope that went okay. It seemed like it went okay. Yeah, anyway, thanks a million for paying attention.